we are going to reach out to our next presenter, who is Oded, who comes to us all the way from Tel Aviv, where it is also the middle of the night. So thank you very much, Oded, for joining us. He and his team have built a really incredible e-commerce business on a pretty unique product that he'll share with you guys. It's being sold, even though he's based in Tel Aviv, it's being sold all over the world. They've done over 5 million in revenue over the past few years. They're primarily selling in the UK, Europe, in the United States. But he will know much better than I, so let's get him on here and introduce him to the world of Flippa. Oded, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. What's going on?
Not too much. What's going on with you?
Middle of the night, as you mentioned, but all good.
Yeah, well, thank you for joining us. If you want to share your presentation, we will learn about what you got.
Let me get up. Do you see it now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So as you said, I'm presenting today StoneStream. I'm Oded, one of the co-founders of Active, which is actually a US registered company, but all of us are located here in Israel. And we have a bunch of online ventures. Over the years, we've developed and created and developed different online ventures. StoneStream is definitely one of our greatest successes. And yeah, let's dive right in. So StoneStream is a direct-to-consumer e-commerce white label showerhead brand, and it offers basically unique showerheads that are increasing water flow velocity, reducing water waste, and filtering your shower water for more healthier and cleaner shower. Let's dive right in. So started from scratch back in March 2017, selling just one single model of showerhead. Now we are actually selling 6 different showerhead models and 5 different complementing accessories, such as filters, shower hoses, and all sorts of things. If maybe it's a good time to mention that if you guys are wondering how relevant we are in this day and age, given the situation around the world. So we believe it's actually a great positioning because we are exactly the right price range, anywhere between $20 and $80 for the different kits and products that we sell. And then, people obviously stay more at home. They want better showers. So yeah, that's definitely a plus in this time. Already sold to over 100,000 customers globally. But yeah, as you mentioned, it's definitely UK is our vast majority of our customers, and then the US, Ireland, and other countries in Europe as well. Let's look at the numbers here. So over 136,000 sales, we generated $5 million in revenue over the course of the 3 years. After deducting $2 million of that spent, and then cost of goods, around $1.5 million, and then all the other expenses, leaving us with a sweet profit of almost $1 million, which is roughly 19% in net profit margin. We got great exposure over the years. So overall, 220 million ad views across Facebook ads, Google ads, and all the other platforms. But mostly in these two, averaging a great return on ad spend, as you can see. Last 12 months, sellers' discretionary earnings were $194,000. So one of the things we take great pride in is our customer service and quality of products, and you can see it around across the different channels. So we have a great social media buzz. A lot of reviewers on YouTube doing it independently, giving us great feedback, and also our Trustpilot page, which has already over 1,040 authenticated reviews. Great reviews there. It's a great asset of us, and a really important point in the decision-making process of the buyers. So in terms of Geo Distribution, we've sold, as I mentioned already, over 100,000 shards across the world, mostly in the UK and the US, Ireland. Recently, we just translated a website to German and French and offered another currency to check out, which is Euro. So we're already seeing great potential there. Why we're selling the business? So all of us are actually from a B2B background. We happen to got to consumer goods just by accident. And anyone with proper background in consumer goods, retail, wholesale, and all this kind of stuff would probably make a whole lot better profit than us. And there are a lot of improvements to do in all these kind of areas. So definitely a great opportunity for anyone who knows that. And also lately we looked at selling our products off Amazon, but we had, but it's taking actually a while for us to register there and list our products. And anyone with, already working FBA, Amazon business, or anyone who knows how to get set up on Amazon real quick would probably turn a real quick profit there, because we already see a lot of search volume, going on in our search console, Google Ads and all those kind of platforms. We're seeing search for our products and Amazon, so SoundStream, Amazon, those kind of search terms. Also, as I mentioned, active as other online ventures, which we'd like to pursue, obviously. So, using the funding from StoneStream and also our time and attention would be great to invest in our other ventures as well. And in terms of opportunities for the prospective buyer, so as I mentioned, marketplaces and other platforms would be a great opportunity. We, I think last month was our first sale on eBay, and already generated $2,000 in sales, which is really nice for first month. So, all these other platforms, and as I mentioned, retail, we're already seeing interest from buyers across Lowe's, Home Depot. We just started reaching out to them just to test the waters, and it seems really promising. So anyone who knows retail would probably make a huge dent there. Geographic expansion, as I mentioned, we just started with Europe. You can go from there, and then supply terms negotiation, which means basically that we just recently started working with another supplier. So we are optimizing the fulfillment of all orders in a way that can actually save a lot. It can go up to 50% saving cost of goods per day, which is really crazy. And there's many other opportunities. We have a new product launch coming up soon, which we'll be happy to share with the new prospective buyer, and a lot of other stuff going on as well. You can check it out. And what's included in the sale? So obviously all of our web stores, it is Wix based, so 3 stores on Wix, eBay store, all the online digital assets, ad accounts, and all this kind of stuff. We have I would say dedicated team working on StoneStream in terms of customer care, social media. They're fully trained, everything is well documented, so there's no problem turning it over to someone else. All the domain names, supplier relations. If the prospective buyer would also be interested in connecting with the source factory, that's also an option. Is actually we visited there, so we know the guys over there as well. We have 2 trademarks, one in the UK, one in the US, robust creative library with hundreds of videos and photos and whatnot. Currently, we have inventory worth of $8,000, but it really depends what being date of the sale. And yeah, that should be pretty much. That should give you a decent background on the business, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have. Thank you.
Yeah, that's fantastic, Oded. Really cool. While I'm bringing Blake in here, I'll ask one of the questions that came in earlier from one of our audience members. What percentage of your sales are currently in the US, and what sort of potential might there be to build the US sales?
So I would say it's, well, out of the revenue or out of the profit? Or like out of the sales?
However you would define it.
Sales.
Sales.
Sales, I would say roughly 20%, but I guess I already put it in the sale. I have this one page over there, and it shows it.
Great, about 20%.
Yeah, Oded, that's a super critical question for most of our buyers there. So if you've got that data handy, just the percentage of sales across your key markets. So I think the UK is your biggest market. And then I'm not sure whether the US is your second biggest, but if you've got the percentage breakdown there, that would be handy. Otherwise, let's add that to the listing
Yeah,
there.
let me look it
Follow
up
up.
real quick. Let's see. So yeah, it's 22%.
22% is the US?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And your biggest market is the UK, is that correct?
Yes, currently it is.
Okay. Thanks very much, Oded. Really, really appreciate that presentation. A fantastic amount of detail there. As you know, I'm a customer of yours. I have your shower head sitting in my bathroom, and I also...
Yeah, I was wondering if it's still out there. Okay, great to hear you're still a happy customer.
Yeah. Had it for about 6 months now, and I've also got one in my mother and father's apartment, which is fantastic. So it's going really well. Thank you for that. A quick question from one of our listeners here. Is the product patented at all? And if not, how do you kind of describe or talk to the competition?
Yeah, it's a good question. So we don't hold any patents on the product, but we do have, the brand name trademark, which is, very strongly associated with this kind of product because we were there first and, scaled it up real big. So, people associate our type of products with the brand name SoundStream. We are working on a new model which kind of be exclusive, not in the terms that we'll have an exclusive deal with distributing the product from the factory, but it will probably be an exclusive model of ours. And we are also selling exclusive kits that's just for us, sourcing from different factories. So you would see, for instance, the hard water filtration kit, which is exclusive for us. And yeah, so there's a lot of differentiators that we worked on over the years, whether if it's the product quality, the type of models, the kits, the brand name, and new models that we're working on currently. Okay.
And you talked a little bit about your geographic breakdown before. So you mentioned that 20 to 25% was out of the US. Your biggest market was the UK. Do you currently have a fulfillment center out of the UK?
So actually we had for a long time, but then we kind of discovered that shipping out of China would make just an extra couple of business days to send and a lot cheaper. So we actually wanted to save it, both of our customers, and to make a bigger profit margin for us. But it's definitely doable. They actually paid for express shipping back in the days anywhere from 4 to 5 British pounds. So there's also an opportunity, for an upsell on the shipping cost. But that's definitely something that the prospective buyer might do.
Okay, and just very quickly, without talking about the elephant in the room, Mr. COVID-19, it looks like you've had a very significant bounce back this prior month. Is that fair to say? Is that a correct assessment?
So yeah, what happened basically is, kind of mid-January, China was shut down because of the Chinese New Year. So we knew we're gonna be shut down for like 3 weeks. So what we did is basically transitioned into pre-orders instead of the regular flow we had, and then we scaled everything down a little bit, just to be on the safe side, and then ran for a couple of months like this because obviously the pandemic started going on and everything. And then when we got everything back, it was around mid-March. We actually saw the numbers going up, and we were, surprised that it's, didn't affect us as much as we thought it will. And we're still, May is already, it's only 1 week started ago, but it's going well even on May. So yeah, I would say bounce back is definitely a good definition for it.
Fantastic. Thank you, Oded. So it looks like you've got a fantastic business. StoneStream is the name. It's 3 years old, generating between $15,000 to $20,000 net profit per month. Looks like you've had a historical high of $49,000 net profit back in November 19. and April with a really, really significant bounce back at $32,000. So firstly, congratulations on building a fantastic business. Secondly, thank you so much for a great presentation.
Thank you guys. Thank you for having me.